again, have that kind of turn-based idea to it. Another game that people kept talking about was Fire Emblem. People were saying that Fire Emblem was a JRPG because it's an RPG that comes out of Japan. I highly disagree with this one as well. Fire Emblem is a tactics game. It's a TRPG. So at this point, we have people calling Souls-likes, TRPGs, ARPGs, and French RPGs. All people are calling them JRPGs, and some people aren't. So what in the world does it mean? So what I define as a JRPG nowadays is any game that from the early NES up until the early PS2 mimics a Japanese style of role-playing game. This can mean anything from the classic turn-based, like original Final Fantasy, up to Tales of games, as well as like the original Dot Hack series. I think the more we get into modern times, it gets a lot more confusing. I would say any game like Expedition 33 that tries to replicate that old style is now in turn a JRPG because we're referring to the style of it. How on the opposite end of that spectrum, a modern game like Final Fantasy 16 has no JRPG elements left to it. It's extremely Western, it's medieval, it has no turn-based mechanics whatsoever, and it's solely an action RPG. So what makes Final Fantasy 16 a JRPG? Solely because it's grandfathered in. Because games like Final Fantasy defined what a JRPG means, they can still make games that aren't turn-based, and they thus become JRPGs. If companies that are not related to Japan at all thus make a game inspired by those early 90s to early 2000s video games, those are also, to me, a JRPG. Just because something comes out of Japan does not solely mean that it's a JRPG to me. However, just because something is made in a different country other than Japan does not automatically make it a JRPG just because it's turn-based, such as Baldur's Gate 3. What do you guys think? What defines a JRPG to you? Is a JRPG solely any game that comes out of Japan? Does Fire Emblem count as a JRPG? Does Elden Ring count as a JRPG? What about more modern Final Fantasies like Final Fantasy 16? Do you think that that counts? And then the biggest one that caused discussion in my own post is Expedition 33. Expedition 33 swept the board because it was mimicking what we all missed from old school JRPGs. So in my mind, I think that that's a given. However, the internet got very angry about that idea and said that's a French RPG. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? Thanks so much for your input. I'd love to know what you guys think. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm Sora LaChance. Bye.